Hi guys, so this week I asked the question, what is the role of school in society? And my three corresponding questions were, what role does public school play in moral development? The second question I asked was, what role do teachers play in the overall role of school in society? And the third question I asked is, how can my understanding of the role school plays in society change the way I approach teaching? So just to jump into things, I got really good responses from my classmates this week, so I didn't have to do a lot of alternative research on my own, so I'm just going to kind of reiterate what they said and discuss their answers with you guys. So for my first question, what role does public school play in moral development? One of my classmates pointed out that public schools are where students get most of their social interaction, and it's where they learn how to behave in many ways. Kids spend a lot of time at school throughout their life, and I think maybe sometimes as parents and teachers we forget necessarily how much of their social interaction comes from exchanges within school. And then another one of our classmates said, besides at home, public schools are a place where kids learn how to interact with each other. Although some of the interaction at school will be outside of the classroom, a lot will happen under our supervision. We can teach our students how to interact with each other in a positive manner. We can also help them understand that they do not follow the crowds, as explained by Green. It will be helpful for them to hear it from someone other than their parents. Aristotle said, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. We need to be able to help our students improve in more than just facts, but in life. And I really like how this classmate pointed out some of the things that Green discussed. I really enjoyed reading that. And I do think that we live in a very extrinsically motivated society rather than an intrinsically motivated society. And to help our students realize ways that they can be intrinsically motivated to complete tasks. And that can further their moral development in other aspects of their life. I think that we have an incredible power over that as teachers. The second question I asked was, what role do teachers play in the overall role of school in society? And my classmate chose to respond, I think that teachers play a much more important role than many may think. And they found an article that showed the overall importance of teachers on the students' individual performance. And it was a very interesting article. And again, I just kind of took out of it, I've talked a lot about this in previous discussions, but just that recognizing our students as individuals and understanding their individual needs, and developing those individual relationships with our students in the most appropriate but the most depth that we can is really important, and I think that that plays a really big role in the moral influence that we have on our students, and that kind of is an answer to my question of what is the overall role that teachers play when we consider their role in society. And the third question I asked is, how can my understanding of the role school plays in society change the way I approach teaching? And my classmate answered, I really like this question. It has made me think. I believe we will have to change our approach to teaching as the role of school changes. If standards and testing scores continue to be pushed to being more important than teaching general subjects, it will change the way teachers approach each subject. We will begin to teach for scores instead of passion and drive for our students. This would be incredibly sad. In our readings, they talked about living wide awake and how that can really help us. If we can figure out how to teach our students to have passion for knowledge and education, then they will have the desire to want to learn more. And I thought that that was such an insightful answer. I kind of discussed the extrinsic and intrinsic motivation thing a little bit earlier, but we do have such an influence over our students in that sense, and I think that it would be very difficult as a teacher when you're mandated certain curriculums and things to not want to just give students scores, and to kind of, I think it would be difficult to not just become focused on that. So again, just developing those relationships with our students is so important. And I think stepping outside as maybe the curriculum and finding ways to apply things to real life and give students application techniques is also very important. Thank you guys for watching. I learned a lot this go round, and yeah, I think that's it.